How's everybody doing this morning? Did you all get to see all the speakers?
No, by the time I got to register, I wasn't able to do the first morning session. So hopefully they have notes for that.
I know they recorded the session, so I don't know if they're gonna share those somehow later for people who might have missed or what they're gonna do with those. So
that would be awesome.
Yeah, I think I missed the first one. I came in just as the Stigma Smash lady was being introduced. So I think I missed the first one.
That was prayer and violin music.
yeah.
Oh, I would have liked that.
Well, we had actually Carrie Waterland did an intro about peer services and everything that's been done and new things that are going to happen. And then Swill did his talk and violin and all of that. So it was quite a busy morning.
Sounds fun.
Patsy has her hand up.
Did everyone get popcorn in their goodie bag?
I did.
That's kind of fun. I got a Twizzler too.
How did you get a goodie bag?
I don't know. It came in the mail.
For people who registered enough ahead of time, they mailed out some things.
Bag.
And not everybody, I guess, got them in time because of some of the problems with the Postal Service right now. So.
Bummer. Okay, thank you.
Hopefully they'll come later.
Yeah, hopefully.
Got my mask.
Hi, everybody. I see people are starting to get in here. I'm going to give it another couple of minutes just because we had a lot of people registered that aren't here yet. So I'll give it about 2 minutes more. How did everybody find it okay to click on the links in that form we were sent to get to the meetings? I couldn't get the links to work. I had to copy and paste them and put them in my browser. I don't know about anybody else.
Mine, I couldn't just go in directly on the app. It had to open my Zoom thing. And yeah, so it took a few steps before I got in. And then also I find that you can't really be late to these things because then people will fill your slots. So that's why I decided to come like 5 minutes before.
Yeah. I like to get to places early myself.
Right.
Well, there was a little bit of confusion about get registered for everything, since everything came to me in my email under my boss's name, saying that my boss was supposed to be the attendee and not me.
Oh, yeah.
And I tried to send a letter and couldn't get no return information. So my boss sent a letter and they answered, "You're registered. What's the problem?" And so I had to dig in and figure it out myself. It took me a few hours to get everything straight to get ready. There was a lot of confusion.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and start with our introductions. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Janice Schutz, and I'm currently the Executive Director of Washington State Community Connectors, which is a statewide family-run organization for families dealing with behavioral health care. I am a certified peer counselor and have been since 2010. And I have been involved in the peer and family community on so many levels I can almost not keep track. I've worked as a parent partner in wraparound programs. I've helped get a family-run organization off the ground by developing their parent partner program for them. I've worked in the peer testing program, both as an oral panelist and as the statewide testing proctor. I've served on a lot of boards and groups, and I've done presentations all over the state. So just a lot of different experience. I can't believe all of the amazing things that being involved in the peer and family community has allowed me to do. And it's all been a great learning experience, and I just keep on going. I want to give a moment for my helper this morning, Karen Kelly, to introduce herself, and I'm going to stop my share screen for a moment so that people can see each other for a few minutes. You may want to, if you're not as familiar with Zoom, up in the right-hand corner of your screen, there's some little boxes, and if you hover your mouse over, you can enter or exit full screen, and you can also choose gallery view or speaker view. If it says gallery view when you hover your mouse over it, then you're already in speaker view. And speaker view should allow you to see the person who's speaking in a larger box. So just a couple of helpful tips. And sorry, my dogs are barking, go figure, right? So with that, I am going to allow Karen to introduce herself, and just a reminder, if anybody who is not speaking at this time would mute themselves, that would be amazing. So Karen, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Karen Kelly, and I am the project director for Washington State Community Connectors. And I am also a certified peer counselor. That's not the scope of work I do with what I do, but I'm excited to have learned so many skills and strategies in getting that certification. And I am also the parent consultant on the CLIP Parent Steering Committee for families that have experienced the CLIP journey with their children, which is Children's Long-Term Inpatient Program. So I am a mom with lived experience, and I have 4 children who are, I guess, technically adults. 2 still live at home with me, and 2 are out on their own. And that's it. That's me. And I'm excited to be here to support Janice in her workshop.
Thank you, Karen, for introducing yourself. So today we're here to talk about leadership. So I don't know about you guys, but I grew up kind of hearing the thing about leaders are born, right? Like people would, see a child or a younger person and say, oh, look at them. They're just a natural born leader, right? I don't know. How many of you kind of heard that? Anybody else kind of grow up with that kind of thing? Yeah. So I never really thought, of myself as any kind of leader, because nobody ever said that about me, right? Nobody pointed at me and like, oh, look at her, she's a natural born leader. Plus, in the household I grew up in, I was the only girl with 2 older brothers, and my brothers, you know, were the important ones in the family. Yeah, everybody has different family dynamics, but in my family, it was all about the boys, and I was just like, you know, there kind of thing. So I wasn't ever really brought up to think of myself as any kind of leader. And it wasn't until I became a mom, actually, and one of my daughters started having some problems in school, really. You know, I never really thought, you know, that there was anything more to it than that. Like you know, my mind didn't go to, oh my gosh, there's something wrong with her. No, it was just that she was having some difficulties in school, and that led us on a huge long journey of discovery. And it also taught me that when something's important to me, I will kind of step out of that controlled little box that society put me in of how you're supposed to behave. And you know, basically I turned into an angry mama bear. Okay, let's just put it that way. So I was willing to push limits and do whatever I needed to do to get help for my daughter. Now, that's one part of the journey. And that is one way of becoming a leader, because something was so important to me. I was willing to do things that were kind of against what I thought was the rules, right? The rules of society. I kind of put my neck out there. I wasn't afraid of challenging people in authority because I wanted to get somebody who happened to be my daughter help. So those are some of the characteristics of leadership. You know, that was like my beginning journey right there. Now, I just thought of myself as an angry mom, of course, right? At the time. You know, there were so many facets to this journey that, you know, I learned more about myself as a person through trying to understand what was driving my child's difficulties in school. And one of the things I learned is that I myself had a lot of trauma and mental health that had never really been addressed as a child because I wasn't allowed to express any of those things. I had to behave a specific way and do specific things, and nobody ever talked about how I felt about any of that. So that was the beginning of my leadership journey. Now, I still didn't think of myself as a leader just because I was helping my daughter. I ended up connecting with some other parents who also were trying to help their children. And that was my link into the family community. And once I got linked into the family community, sometimes people would come and ask me questions because I had learned certain things about the system and how to address it. And so people wanted my help. And people who were working as parent partners in the system really encouraged me to use my voice to help not just myself, but other families. And this was a big concern of mine. Like, you know, I was having all these problems and I recognized my place of privilege, right? I am a white woman who speaks English and, you know, has a reasonable level of education. And here I am trying to get help for my child, and I'm running into walls everywhere I turn. And I was thinking, my gosh, what must it be like for someone else who doesn't have all these advantages? I just can't even imagine how much harder that would be. And so when I was encouraged by other people to help other parents as well, I really felt like, wow, there's other people who understand how hard this is and want to help other people. And so this was amazing to me. And that was the first time that I realized that, oh my gosh, you know, somebody else thinks that there's value in things that I'm doing, and that other people might be able to learn from my experience. And this was like the beginning of an amazing journey into leadership for me. And becoming involved in the peer community as well as the parent community gave me, you know, a whole nother perspective. So I just really want to encourage people to know that leadership doesn't come out of being born with any specific privilege or being born with any specific personality trait. It's a collection of experiences that any individual might have that makes them committed to trying to make something better for others, not just themselves, and having that empathy. And that's my leadership story. And everybody has a different one. So a few years ago, I was at a conference, a national conference called the Federation of Families Conference. And they were doing this amazing training called Serving on Groups, which doesn't really sound like a leadership training, right? It's about serving on groups for families is the name of the training. Now I'm gonna go back to my share screen now. So this is the training I'm talking about. And it was really an amazing training for me, because what they're basically trying to accomplish is to teach family leaders and peer leaders, and really anybody in any community, that your voice is important. And one of those places that your voice is important and you can take a leadership role is serving on groups that make decisions. And for those of you who aren't family members, you know, don't let the thing that says a guide for families make you feel like this isn't the presentation for you. Because if you go to the home page, for instance, for this training, when it says, who is this training appropriate for? It basically says everyone. It says this training is appropriate, you know, for family members, for students, for teachers, for anyone who wants to feel confident to have their voice heard. And I think that's really important for people to know. How about you, Karen? I'm going to have you chime in there. How did it make you feel when you first learned about this training?
Yeah, I think it's a really, really excellent training because it's really created for families by families. And when I think of the word family, I think it's been misrepresented in a lot of areas where a family is a man, a woman, and children. And so much so that a lot of times people will get married. It's like, oh, when are you starting your family? In reality, a family is really so much broader. A family is whatever you determine is your family. It might be you and your friendship circle. It might be you and your pet. So it really is appropriate for everybody. And the training is really geared to help each and every one of us learn how to identify strengths that we have, learn how to use those strengths and that lived experience in the best way possible. And as well as in just a group, like this is specifically for serving on a group that makes decisions. However, I've recognized that in one-on-one work as a CPC, there are a lot of skills and strategies that can be shared with people that you are working with, people in your circle. So I just think it's a really amazing training. And I too was excited to take it. Oh, and the one other thing I wanted to add, that even though the training is 8 sections, each section is standalone, which I think is really awesome because a lot of people can't commit an entire day or 2 days to a training, but they can commit to, you know, a shorter version and get one section at a time. So that's cool.
I apologize, you guys, but my presentation is frozen, so I'm gonna see if I can get it to, there we go. Got it to move. Share screen again. Gotta love technical difficulties. Always something.
Yep, there it is. We see it.
So this is just a question that the training asks is, what brings you here today? Health, school, community, leadership. And these are, the 4 primary areas of places where people usually are willing to step out of that box and have their voice heard and feel like they're passionate about something that they need to bring out to their community, and they want to have their voice heard. So the whole purpose of this workshop is to increase confidence for each individual in themselves to be able to speak in a group and feel like their contribution is important. Let's see, there are 27 of us in the room, so I'm going to stop share for a minute, and I'm going to ask if just for a few minutes, if everybody would be willing to share their video so we can all see each other just for a few moments. You don't have to keep it on the whole presentation, but I want to take a moment just for everybody to do a quick hello, my name is, where you're from. Most people are from somewhere in Washington State, but I understand we have a few people out of state. And where you see your leadership role might be. So if you feel like you can say that, that would be great. And I am just going to go down my participant list and call on each of you. So the first one on my list is Alan. Would you mind introducing yourself real quick?
Good morning. My name is Alan Austin. I'm from Port Angeles, Washington. I'm a peer pathfinder for clinical behavioral health. And I am not quite sure where leadership is going for me, because in the peer pathfinder program, we're all peers and pretty much at the same level. So there is no real leadership other than a PATH program supervisor. So not quite sure.
Thank you. All right, Cindy Hall. You have to unmute yourself there, Cindy, in order to introduce yourself. Okay, I'm gonna go down to Dan. Can you unmute yourself?
Yes, I'm Daniel Warren from Auburn, Washington. I see myself in the job I am right now, pioneering a new peer position that just opened up. It's my first job that I've gotten in 20 years. And I've learned how to establish my boundaries and waited for the right job. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Let's see, I have somebody who doesn't have their name up, but it says DJK. If you can unmute yourself and introduce.
Hi guys, my name's Christine. I'm actually very new to the whole peer thing. A lady named Miss Klim actually has got me here today, so I'm kind of just checking it out to see if this is what I want to do.
Fabulous, Christine. I think you and I both have a friend named Miss Lisa Berry.
Yes, we do.
The most amazing Lisa. All right, well, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay, next I have Monica. Oops. Everybody's moving
Hi
around
there.
the list.
Hi, I'm Monica Glass, and I'm in Bremerton, Washington, and I'm with KidSat Mental Health Services, and I'm a peer support specialist there. I've been doing that for a year and a half. Still learning something every day. But as far as my leadership is concerned, it's important for me to, in the role that I have, is to work on my being influencing, and being humble and express and show the resilience when I'm working with my peer clients. Thank you.
Thank you. Esmeralda, do you want to unmute yourself and introduce?
Sure. My name's Esmeralda, and as I'm here in Seattle, and as far as peer leadership, I'm interested in developing leadership and learning about peer leadership as well. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Greg Humphrey, you want to introduce?
Hi, everybody. My name is Greg Humphrey. I live in Berrien, Washington, which is just south of Seattle. I work at Crisis Connections, where I supervise peers. There's about, I'd say, 20 volunteers and 4 paid staff.
Great. Thank you for joining us, Greg. And I have somebody, it just says E. Randy. If you want to unmute yourself and introduce.
Hi, my name is Randy, and I live in Spokane. I don't know if you guys can hear me.
We can.
Oh, sorry, I'm traveling, so I keep losing service. But my role with leadership is just using my experience to inspire youth in the community, and so yeah.
Thank you. Alan Austin, would you like to introduce yourself?
I already have.
Oh, sorry. Everybody's normally I can go down this list and it works, but I'm having trouble today. So let's see. I got Greg. Heather, would you like to unmute and introduce yourself?
Okay, let's see. Okay. Can you see me, hear me? I don't know if it's working.
Yes, we can see you and hear you.
Okay, I don't normally unmute, but my name's Heather. I'm from Vancouver, Washington. I work for the Cowlitz Indian tribe. I started off as outreach, re-engagement, and then now we're starting to build a peer program. I am a CPC, but there's a lot of challenges that I'm dealing with learning how to, get the program actually started. Like, there's so many things that I'm like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. So eventually, hopefully, it'll turn out to be a big, it'll work itself out. It just got to get there, So I'm hoping, like, doing this class that'll help me be able to, help other peers, have the leadership to be able to help the people that we work with, because it's just gonna work. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us. Laura, would you like to introduce yourself? Laura, you're muted. There you
Sorry. Okay. So I'm Laura. I'm here in Seattle, Washington, and I am a facilitator for Peer Seattle, facilitating the chronic pain support group. And I have also worked with youth as well. Being the oldest in my family, it's my responsibility to mentor my siblings. And so that is the leadership I have. And I also want to learn more about how to become an effective leader. So that's my goal.
Thank you for sharing. Lisette, would you like to introduce yourself? Okay, I'm gonna move on to Monty. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Monty. I'm here in Olympia, Washington. Hi, Janice.
Hi, Monty. Good to see you.
You too. We're in a new program here called Familiar Faces. There's 4 of us. We're part of the arrest and jail alternatives. It's kind of a lead type of situation. And I think I might be able to be a leader here, as I used to be one of the people that we get to help here. You know, I used to live on these streets in downtown Olympia and do what, you know, substance abuse disorder, the people living with those get to do, and as well, I have you know, mental health issues, and yeah, I'm really excited about this. We've been doing it for about 5 weeks now, new program, so it's exciting, and hopefully we'll get to be of some service to some people. Thanks, everybody.
Great. Thank you for joining us. Let's see. Tavia, if that's the right way to pronounce it, I hope. Would you like to unmute yourself?
Yes, that is the right way. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so I'm Tavia Langenbecker, and I am from Vancouver, Washington, and I work as a youth peer support. I think that I want to be a leader because growing up in the foster care system, there were a lot of great adults in my life that led me on a really great path. And so I want to use my leadership skills to do that. The same thing for the youth that I work with, and, you know, just help them access community resources and learn independent living, because sometimes they, you know, aren't really shown how to do that kind of stuff. So that's what I want to do with my leadership.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Let's see. Rose, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Rose. I'm a case manager for I'm from Everett, Washington. I'm a case manager for PCAP here in Everett. And I mean, I am a certified peer counselor, but that was more my role when I worked for Compass for the HARPS program. But even here, you know, me being in recovery as well. So I just guide ladies as they're rebuilding their lives in recovery and getting their lives back. So
fabulous, fabulous. All right, how about, oh, everybody keeps moving around on me. Why? Let's see, I know I haven't asked you yet. Violet, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes. Hello, everybody. My name's Violet. I am in Vancouver, Washington. I'm originally from Arizona, but I've been here about 5 years now. I work with CSNW CMAR as a peer counselor on the Adult Mobile Crisis team. About to start a new position on the PAC team, so I'll be working with clients one-on-one. And I just want to improve my leadership skills. I've always been a little bit of an introvert, and I'm just really passionate about people that are in recovery from substance use, people that are contemplating recovery from substance use. I want to be able to lead them on their journey, and as well as people who hear voices. So yeah, that's me.
Thank you. Tina, would you like to introduce yourself?
My name is Tina. I am from Moses Lake, Washington. I am a family peer. Mostly for leadership, I just want to be able to help my parents know what they need to be doing to help their kids so our kids can grow to be healthy and, you know, great human beings.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Timberly, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, I'm Timberly, and I work at Peace Health Southwest Hospital and with Lifeline Connections. And this is a new role on the opiate education team. So I just really hope to use my leadership skills to create this whole new position, and really hope to not only work with people in recovery from opiates, but also from suicidal ideation and attempts, and lead through example by showing them that you can have a life worth living, and there is a way to climb out of whatever darkest hole that you're in. And I would also like to even expand my my skills and work on a community or some sort of a council and a leadership role with within the Vancouver or Clark County area, so that I can help educate and expand what peer supports do and what services they can offer to be of benefit to our community. There's a lot of people that don't know what a peer support person does or what the role entails. So I'm educating people all the time about what I do. So yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. So I know there's a couple people at least that I have missed, but I'm not sure which people I've missed. So if you know how to raise your hand by going to the bar underneath the participants list when you open it, raise your hand and I'll call on you. I'll watch. Let's see. Okay. Thank you guys so much. That's so helpful. Looks like Kia. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Kia. I live in Seattle, Washington, and I work at Ryther, which is a children's mental health facility. And we recently got a new program at the beginning of this year. And so I would like to learn, as far as leadership skills, how to combat paranoia, because our program has several clients, but I'm not able to work with any of the peers yet, and that's the biggest hurdle. So hoping for advice and insights. Thanks, guys.
Great, thank you. All right, Dylan, would you like to unmute yourself and introduce?
Sure. My name is Dylan. I am living and working in Seattle, but like many people, I'm not actually from here. And I work at Peer Seattle, which provides services for folks who are having mental health challenges or experiencing long-term illness or seeking recovery for substance use disorder. I work as the volunteer coordinator, and so one of my leadership roles is just like the practical side of just you know, acting as the coordinator for our volunteer team. But I also think that in general, like as a peer worker, like one of my other primary roles is to act as like an example of what a person in recovery can look like for people who might not be quite so far down the road. So, yep.
Great. Thank you. Brooke, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm sorry I left my, oh wait, I'm muted, aren't I? Can you hear me? Okay.
I can hear you.
Okay, so I have background noise. It's my grandson, so it's just him and I. So my name is Brooke, and I'm from Vancouver, Washington. And I am very new to the area. I've been here about a year, and I have a lot of experience being homeless, as well as working with the homeless population. My position, I have a couple. I work at a safe park site, as well as a navigation center here, 5 days a week. And I'm also kind of a little bit of an outreach specialist, reaching out to people who, you know, are vulnerable in the area. And I also serve on different committees and a board. So that's, and this is all new to me. I'm also, I also advocate for housing and homelessness, as well as I'm hoping to start a voter registration and education event in my area for homeless people. Thank you.
You're welcome. You are one busy lady. Okay. Uh-oh, I lowered the hand too fast. Tanya, I think.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm Tanya. I work for We Care Daily Clinics in Auburn. A peer lead here, and I'm building a team of peers. We're a new organization, a MAT unit, methadone and treatment facility for the Muckleshoot tribe, and we're outside of the Muckleshoot tribe so that family members that are not a part of the Native culture can be treated, but also we're open to the community. And I'm building a peer team so that we can have people go into the jails, go into encampments around the area and help them get on the road of recovery, and also putting peers into the position to remove stigma around substance use disorder and allowing people to recognize that we're whole people, and regardless of where we're at, we're still whole people.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us. All right, and last but not least is Melissa.
Hi, I'm Melissa. I'm in Bellingham, Washington, and I just hope to be able to help people through my own shared experiences and showing them empathy and understanding.
Great. Thank you for joining us. So let's see if I can get this to work this time. So now that we've all had a chance to meet, which is so much harder on Zoom, let's talk about beliefs in leadership. Oops, I got 2 instead of 1. Animations. Leaders are not born. They rise out of a person's passion for how they want the world to be. I think that is very much how my leadership was born. Leadership isn't a gift. It's accessible to anyone who wants it. Another amazing lesson to learn, right? Leadership isn't a calling. It's a matter of listening to a question and trying to come up with an answer. Many of the best leaders of our times are people who were able to think of an innovative idea to solve a problem. A leader is anyone who has a very big and compelling story of how it could all turn out. I love that one so much. All new ideas in leadership for some of us who are newer to trying to be a leader or understand leadership. And I think it's really important to recognize that, as I said in the beginning, that leaders are not born. Because I think that is one of the first great myths that many of us learn as children. Sometimes we have a lot of unlearning to do. There are a lot of really great inspirational quotes. I'm enlarging this so hopefully everybody can read them a little better. Some of them, the print is a little small. And I would like to invite, I can't see the participants list when I am in this share screen. But I would like to invite you, if somebody sees one of these that really speaks to them, to go ahead and read it out loud.
If they want to raise their hand, I can watch the participant list and call them out.
Thank you so much, Karen. So raise your hand if you see one of these. I'm going to slowly move the screen around so you can read them all.
And it looks like Lizette might have a question because her hand is currently raised, unless she already found one.
Let's give it just a minute before we start reading so people out loud. So people have time to read them all before we move on. Okay. Hopefully you've been able to read them all, and I will let parents call on people or ask me to move the screen around if you need me to when you're speaking as well, so you can see your quote.
So far, there are no hands raised.
Nobody has a quote they want.
Christine, go ahead and unmute yourself, Christine.
Okay, the quote that I want to read is, leaders become great not because of their power, but because of their ability to empower others.
Wonderful. That's one of my favorites too.
And then I might be pronouncing her name wrong. Apologize if I am. Kia?
Yeah, that's right. The one about, yep, go up just a tad. If you want to build a ship, don't drum up the men to gather wood, divide the work and give orders. Instead, teach them to yearn for the vast and endless sea. I thought that one spoke very personally.
Yeah, that is beautiful.
And then Alan has one to share.
It's the one in the corner with Martin Luther King.
One in the corner. Sorry, I couldn't hear what else you said.
With Martin Luther King.
Martin Luther King.
Which corner? There we go.
Everybody can be great because everybody can serve. This one really speaks to me because service pretty much has become my life's calling.
And Timberly.
Yeah, I like the one that was up in the left corner that said, true leaders don't create followers, they create more leaders. Was that already said? That was really a good quote.
Oh, that is definitely one of my favorites and one of my true beliefs.
Mine as well. And Lizette, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. I apologize if not.
Yes, you did. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yep.
Can you go down where it says leaders with influence? It says give when they don't have to, care for others, grow continuously, live. I'm sorry, it's kind of blurry on my end. Authentically, I think that's what it says. Empower others, manage hardship, and serve with I don't know, it's blurry from here, so I think it's humanity.
Humility. Serve with humility.
Humility.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that sounds really good. It's like you're teaching, you're inspiring, just giving the power to the other person.
And it looks like that was everybody. If I missed anybody, please unmute yourself and pipe in. I don't want to leave anybody out.
I like the one that says Esmeralda. The one that says, attract what you expect, reflect what you desire, become what you respect, and mirror what you admire.
Yeah, love it. Anyone else?
Looks like Melissa has her hand raised.
I liked leaders become great not because of their power, but because of their ability to empower others.
Another great one. So hopefully some of these quotes really kind of speak to you and help you see the different perspectives of leadership. And my favorite quote isn't on this page. I do think it's on a different slide in here, but it just says, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. So you can get much farther if you're traveling with others helping you along the way, which is, I believe, an African proverb.
Janice, can you say that quote again?
The one I just said?
Yeah.
All right, let me find it because I want to make sure that I'm saying it right. Since you want to hear it. It's an African proverb, and of course I can't find it right now, but it just says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, and I'm not sure if it says go together or go with others, but you get the gist of it. And it is on one of these slides, but I just don't know which one off the top of my head. So
It is an African proverb, says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
yeah, that's what I thought.
I Googled it.
Thank you. And there's another one from Helen Keller that's very similar that says, alone we can do so little, together we can do so much.
Be the change you want to see.
Yes, there's so many great ones. Okay, now I gotta stop sharing again because my presentation got stuck again. It's funny how it keeps doing that. For a while it works and then it doesn't.
Janice, are the slides going to be available after the presentation today?
I can share the slides, and the best way to get more access to them actually is to take the full training. I only say that because these slides are like a select few from, I don't know, a few hundred, Karen? Is that how many are in this actual full-length presentation? So the information I'm sharing with you today is from an 8-unit training. Karen and I are both certified trainers for this national training. Through our organization, Washington State Community Connectors, we do offer it. It's usually free to anybody in the community that qualifies to have us come, depending on who your agency or organization is that you're representing. If it's an in-person training, we may ask you to arrange for the space to present it. But to have us come and do it is free. And it can be done either as like a 2 full days of training, or it can be done as like one unit once a week, you know, one evening a week. So you could do like an 8-week series. There's lots of ways to do it. And if you're doing it online, of course, it's even more flexible because there's no travel. So basically, I'm giving you just a little taste of this full training. I've pulled out the things that mostly speak to leadership, and some of the rest of the training covers more detailed ways to get involved, specifically on groups that make decisions, of which in our state there are so many that affect behavioral health, substance use disorder, homelessness, you know, so many of these decision-making groups at the local, county, and state levels that people can participate in. And you just have to be willing to take that step and feel comfortable enough doing it to volunteer yourself for those positions. And sometimes those are made public, like emails come out every now and again. I get them saying, you know, we're looking for people to participate on this panel or this committee. And it really takes people being willing to step into those positions and share your story and your perspective to bring real system change, because that's what it's about. And that's what this whole training is about. And so we share our passion for helping people understand our stories, right? And where the system needs to create change. Sorry, I am having trouble getting my presentation to go back where it wants. I think my computer is at meltdown level at this point, so I'm going to close some windows and reopen them because that seems to be a problem. Always a technical difficulty with presenting.
Yeah, and if it's still it's squirrely, you can always email it to me and I'll pull it up.
Come on, PowerPoint, you can do it.
I love that phrase. Always makes me think of that, oh, those cute commercials with the hairy, I don't know, they're not people, cricket phone. And the one guy's trying to exercise on his couch and the motivational speaker's like, you can do it.
Yeah.
He's on the couch doing his.
You know what that's originally from?
I have no idea.
That's from the coach that Carrie Strug had when she did the vault that broke her foot.
Oh,
and
I
he
saw
kept
that.
saying, you can do it, you can do it. And she went back and ran and did another vault on her broken foot and actually
Yes.
won gold.
Okay, I did not know that. I just know it was some motivational coach that was going to give him a private motivation on the couch. And he said, you can do it. That's awesome.
So, so as I said, this particular training focuses on family engagement, but this, you know, it is good for peer engagement or any type of engagement. And there have been many studies on involvement of peers and family in systems and services, and how important it is to have those. The one that's referenced in this training is by Dr. Joyce Epstein, was the lead researcher on that. And what they're talking about is that we're beginning to see a shift in thinking that emphasizes partnering with families and peers and other service participants not just in telling them what to do or allowing them to volunteer in specific and limited ways, but to be invited and to actually have a voice to groups and committees that are working towards improved outcomes for people receiving services. It's not just enough to be invited to the table. People need to be empowered to be active members of these groups. It's also important to connect families and peers with other family members and peers in the community to support mentoring and be able to represent broader concerns from diverse community members. Working with peer and family-led organizations to recruit, train, and support diverse family and peer leaders benefits a much wider audience, and it helps create diversity in the people that are able to move up into leadership positions, which is a real struggle, as you know. I mean, you know, I get it. I am, you know, the God, I hate to say it, middle-aged white lady. Oh my God, that's painful to say. And I see people who look like myself, right? Sitting around these leadership tables. And we need to be sure that that door is open to people from all different diverse backgrounds to come forward and be encouraged to come forward. You know, not just opening the door, but actually guiding them to it, I would say. Okay, now, there we go. So, of course, children have better outcomes when families are involved, and peers have better outcomes when peers are involved. The research showed, I'm sure what you think are, you know, shocking results, right? For families, awareness and input on policies was broader, a feeling of ownership and shared experience and connection with professionals and other families was made. Same for peers. But there are also benefits for the professionals that are learning from families and peers, and that gives them awareness of the peer and family perspective, increased confidence and ability to partner with families and peers, and acceptance of family and peer representatives in leadership roles. This is an overview of serving on groups. It was developed due to an identified need. It was created collaboratively by several stakeholders, and the audience, family members, students, educators, groups, any community member, and administrators. So as you can see, a wide variety. I'm going to skip a couple of these because it talks about a book that they actually don't use anymore that was created to go along with this training. And then these are leadership resources geared. A lot of them are geared towards family members, and we have created, I think, Karen, we did this full training in partnership with United Peers of Washington. Gosh, was it last fall, Karen? Was it just last fall that
No, it was the fall before last fall.
Okay.
So are they not using the guide anymore?
So they are using it, but they're not emphasizing like they used to that you need to provide it for families. So, you know, it's a booklet that just goes along with the training that's formatted differently. And personally, I find it's easier to just provide people with the PowerPoint to go along with it. It has all the same information. The guidebook pages look like this. So they do have a little bit more. They add these real life examples and that kind of stuff. And there is a great website, which I actually shared in the description of the workshop that links you to the Serving on Groups website. For people who are just interested in reading more about the training, it's on there to learn if you want to have a more in-depth training with Karen and I, or one of the other trainers that we have trained in this process. You know, you can get in touch with us as well.
Yeah, and we're also certified to do train the trainers training. So if you have an organization you work with and you want to be able to offer that as something that some of your partners can be trained in, we could also set that up as well.
So one of the things that is important to reflect on in your leadership journey is, where are the opportunities for you to get involved? And some of that will depend on you, your personality and your style of, you know, are you somebody who's still a little bit tentative and hesitant and, you know, earlier in your leadership journey, that maybe you need somebody to kind of hold that door open for you and say, look, there's an opportunity where you can get involved. Or maybe you're somebody, you know, like for me, I am constantly looking. Like you know, I'm involved in so many things, and that's because I am a learner. I love to learn about new things. And so I'm constantly out there looking for ways to get involved in new things to learn about. And that's just, you know, my style, but that's not everybody's style. So it does take some self-reflection about, you know, where are you in your journey and where do you want to start? Sometimes it starts with just reaching out to people in your own circle and being willing to say, you know, this is my experience, and I want to support you and other friends in whatever you're experiencing. Or sometimes it's taking a risk and reaching out to somebody that maybe isn't in your close circle, but you know might be struggling with something and you don't know what, and saying, hey, I just want you to know that I'm here if you need to talk. I'm interested in supporting you with whatever is happening in your life. And for someone else, it's taking that step and seeing that, oh, hey, look, this organization said they need volunteers. Let me figure out if my skills and you know, my story is something that will be helpful to them. Do I have a place at that table? Does anybody have any ideas that are kind of popping up for them? I'm going to stop my share for a second so I can see everybody and see the chat, because that's the hardest part about these Zoom meetings is when you're presenting, it's really hard to stay connected to the people in the room, which for me is a big part of the presentation.
Yeah, and right now we're getting lots of positive feedback. People are really loving it. Lots of sharing emails. I'm taking them down so they want to be added to our resource, our contact lists to get more information about other trainings we're doing. So
that is fabulous. And
that's mostly what's happening right now in chat.
And so we only have a few minutes left. And so I do want to give it a few minutes. If somebody has a question, please either put it in the chat or raise your hand so we know that you have a question. And I'm going to take a couple of minutes just to say that Washington State Community Connectors, who Karen and I are proudly representing today, we are a community family organization, but we are also a collaborative organization, and it is super important to us that our doors are open to all types of community members. And people who already know me that are here, Javon and Michael and a few others know this to be true, that I have worked really hard to be sure that peers know that we are here for you. We are not here for just family members. We want you to participate in our trainings and our events just as much as we want parents and caregivers to. All of us as a community are only stronger if we're united. And our voice as a cohesive community of peers and families together is really important to create system change. And that doesn't mean that our communities, so to speak, will always agree on everything, just as we as individuals won't always agree on everything. There is always more than one perspective. And sometimes that is difficult, but that doesn't mean we can't work together and support each other where our commonalities lie. And with that, Karen, do you want to call on somebody who's raised their hand? Oh, I think I can see people now again too. Let's see.
Yeah, it looks like we have Alan. He has his hand raised.
Go ahead, Alan.
No, I didn't raise my hand.
Oh, and maybe it's raised from last time.
Yep.
Timberly has her hand raised.
No, sorry, that was from last time as well.
No problem. I see Melissa.
Also from last time.
And I see Javon.
Yes, the first time. I just wanted to thank everyone for being here and remind you to please take a short second, and in the chat box I'll be posting, and I have periodically through the presentation about the evaluations. So it'll help us plan next year's, and it also tells Karen and Janice how amazing they are. Thank you.
Thank you, Javon. And Laura, you can just go ahead and ask your question. I see you asked how to raise your hand, so.
Yeah, I kind of like couldn't find where the hand was. So you asked the question, where are you in your journey? And where do you want to go? So with everything that's going on, like the coronavirus and everything soon to be open, I'm starting to look at every day as a new day with new possibilities. But I really don't know where I'm going with my journey. But all I know is I'm working on meditation and recovery, and hopefully by the end of the month I will have a full knowledge on that, so I can facilitate that and bring that to the group of all sorts. But also I'm very interested in working with people with disabilities, because I have worked with people with disabilities in the past. And I want to know like how I can get involved in that as well. But that just made me think of that.
Great
question.
Great. It helped you discover a new goal for yourself. And I would say that off the top of my head, just there are 2 ways really quickly to get involved. And one is the ARC of King County. Contact them. And then, there is another organization whose name I can't think of right now. It is like the Disability Rights of Washington, I think. And they can probably connect you with other local organizations and opportunities. So yeah, and that's one of the great things about connecting with others, is learning about these other, not only resources, but other organizations that, you know, that need volunteers from the community to step in. And so I am just really pleased that you all were able to come today. I hope that you are encouraged to step out in your leadership journey and learn more. And that whole project of discovering yourself, I'm just going to share one more time. We actually have a whole activity we do when we have a longer time in the training, called the MAP activity, where we go through individually a written plan where you answer these questions about your leadership journey. And it's really quite a wonderful exercise. So I'm sorry that we're out of time already. And I want to thank you all for coming, and I hope that we will get to talk to you again in the future.
Thank you, Janice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all for coming.
Hi, this is Brooke. I noticed that the things are ending at 11, but from 11 to 12, there's nothing on the schedules. So is that like a break and then lunch, or is?
Yeah.
Actually, there should be something on the schedule. It is, hold on, let me get my little handy dandy. Oh, that's right, it's not printed, it's in my phone. I think they're doing, it is lunch, but they're also doing the Peer Award, I believe.
Yeah, that, I believe that starts at 12. So I just wasn't sure about that time period from 11 to 12 that's kind of open. I may just have missed something on my list.
Hold on a second. Let me bring up the big schedule. Okay, I've got it. 9 to 11, 9:45 to 11. Okay. Oh, 11 to 11:15 is a break. And then from 11:15 to 12 is Chad's Legacy. It's one of the keynote addresses, so it's back in the main room where you were before this presentation. So it's a different link. So Chad's Legacy will presenting suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem.
Thank you. I went to the main one. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, Janice.
We're gonna I'll keep this open. Javon, I don't know if they if you're able to save the chat. I know when I am, oh look, I can save the chat myself from here. So I'm gonna save the chat, Karen, so you don't have to.
Oh, after I did all that super quick writing.
Yeah, well,
I'll take it.
So if anybody else wants to put any information in the chat, be sure that we will save that and contact all of you. And since we're on a break right now, I'll just leave this open for a few more minutes before we close. Javon, am I supposed to just end this when I'm done?
Yes, you can end when you're done. They can fall out periodically how they would like. The hospitality room will be available. They can hang out in there. They might be playing games, take a break, and see at Chad's Legacy or after the wars, and you can leave out whenever you're ready.
Great.
And Karen and Janice, you two did a wonderful job, and I learned a lot, and I appreciate the time you offered us.
Thank you. Thank you for taking over while I let Albert out. He was making noise. He's like, ah, ah, ah.
I know. Well, I just want everybody to know that you should be very impressed at the limited amount of dog barking that happened while I was talking.
Right? I was shocked.
Well, everybody in my family was instructed, like, you have got to keep the dogs quiet. So,
she has like a lot of dogs in her home.
well, we're living in shared space right now. It's my husband and I, our family home, and we have 4 dogs. And my brother lives with us, and he has a dog, so that's 5 dogs. And then my daughter and her fiance moved in with us temporarily, and they have 4 dogs. So that's 9 dogs. And today, my other daughter is having surgery. So her dogs are here visiting while they're at the hospital. So I have 11 dogs in my house today.
Wow.
All to know this. So
Don't you own a company that like takes care of them?
I do. I also own a pet care company, but we go to their houses. So these are like family dogs. So yeah. Oh, somebody wants the link for the hospitality room, Javon. Do you have that?
Yeah, I would have to, if you can give me a minute, I'll tell me who it is, and then I'll try to.
Violet wants the link.
Violet? Okay, Violet, I'm gonna shoot that to you in just a second. Give me one quick second.
Awesome, thank you. I didn't see it on the site with the other links. I don't know if I'm overlooking it.
No, I think they posted it during the sessions this morning, but I don't think it was in the other links.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it in there. I gotta pull it out of this email right here.
Awesome.
Oh, there's like a hospitality room where we can just hang out and chat.
Yeah, I'll post
that's all kind of stuff for me.
How about if I just post it for everyone?
That'd be good.
Okay.
Thanks, Violet. I missed that there was even that room.
Yeah, I heard them mention it, in the morning keynotes, but I didn't save it. So.
And this app that they have, it's different. I'm used to the WOVA app. That's the only app I've used during conferences. So I'm still trying to figure out this CNET app or C-Event or whatever it's called.
I'm having trouble with it. It keeps crashing on my phone.
Oh yeah, mine's not crashing. It's just so different than the WOVA that I'm confused. Oh look, he gave us the hospitality room link.
Yeah, thank you.
I did have a question.
Okay.
Myself, one of the things that I'm trying to learn how to do is I'm in the process of developing a self-help program for any type of life management recovery.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to the point where I need collaboration and help. And I tried to convey that at my workplace, but they're mostly into information gathering and what do they call it? Virus testing.
Right.
And so who would I reach out to in order to further this step? Because the recovery program is based on self-help and harm reduction and becoming a leader in your own recovery.
Mm-hmm. Are you on Facebook at all?
Yes, I am.
Are you on any of the peer-specific Facebook groups?
I'm on one, the Washington State peer group.
Mm-hmm.
I get direct links directly from the government office.
Okay. And what about the United Peers of Washington? Is that the one that you're part of?
I think that's the one, I think.
So I personally, I would post on there and say, hey, this is a project I'm working on and I really need, would like more input. Are there any people that would be willing to talk with me privately about, look at what I'm working on and add some input? you know, that's the best way to get direct help from other peers, is to just reach out.
Well, I actually almost had a group together, but then everybody started losing their jobs. And instead of sticking with me, they went the other way. They went to work, and they said, since I was, what should we say, the client, at 2-year moratorium, they can't talk to me.
Yeah. So, you know,
Which is actually kind of difficult for a lot of people coming up, is once they stop being a client and actually become a peer, there's people that they still can't even communicate with for 2 years, even though it's a professional position. I've been looking into that.
Some of those rules don't really make sense, and it should make a difference. Like if you're reaching out to them on a professional level, not a personal level, then they should be able to. But you know, every agency is different and has a different level of what they, you know, how they follow the rules. So,
Yeah,
but
different
reach out to the community. So.
Okay, yeah, I've even had people that can correct my bad grammar. They're gone now. It's sort of like, it seems like anybody that actually does collaborate is temporary. I'd like to have a more permanent setup here, because I think it'd be really nice to have a state-run recovery, which covers everybody, whether you have insurance or not. You have ability to pay or not. That's my idea. Is we shouldn't have to pay for medical treatment of any sort.
Yeah, it's true. Well, I think we're going to go ahead and close out now, so that we can take a break before we go join Chad's Legacy in 6 more minutes. So,
Thank you very much.
Thank you.